TV, these days known as AFTV, has joined us live here in studio. A man I met not that long ago when you and I did something for your very channel, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. Interviewed just down the road here, just by the Thames, and we were talking about Alexis Sanchez at that time, I think, Robbie.
Yeah, it was about transfers, wasn't it?
It was about transfers and everything else that went with it. But Mr. This is Simon Jordan, incidentally.
Hello.
Hello, Robbie.
How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. All the better for seeing you.
I like this, mate. I'm not sure it'll be mates come the end, but we'll see.
Now, it's slightly frosty at the moment, but it'll loosen up. We know it'll loosen up because Simon's going to react to one or two things that Robbie and his AFTV cohorts have been saying on their hugely successful YouTube channel. Have a listen to this. This was Robbie the other day.
I would like to ask Simon Jordan this. How many games have you been to this season? How many Arsenal games have you been to? What makes you more qualified than a fan that's going there week in, week out, and you want to give them your opinion is more valid than fans that are going there week in, week out to watch the game? Listen. You are a dinosaur of football. I said it the other day. I know it hurt you because you keep going on about it. You are a pompous dinosaur of football. I'm saying it here and now. A pompous dinosaur. You're one of these guys that you look down on fans and just think, yeah, you lot, just keep quiet, shut up, pay your money, go into the game. You're the typical owner. This is why we are here. This is why AFTV are here, because of people like you. Typical owner, or shall I say ex-owner of a football club. And you didn't even make a good job of that.
Oh, now there's that last comment.
That final blow.
Natalie, I feel like Eddie Hearn here in between these two, just like, now look at the face on Mr. Jordan. He's not happy. So Robbie, where did this all come from?
Well, to be fair, Simon's been having a dig at us for a long time. I've heard him many times on the radio. Have a dig at us. And listen, I've not got a problem with that because he's entitled to his opinion. I know he's a very controversial figure on the radio. But what I did kind of take exception to was two things that he did. And one of his recent interviews here on the radio, he said that he questioned the IQ of the fans that came on. And I was like, on AFTV, and I was like, the IQ, I mean, you're working on a radio station like TalkSport. As far as I know, you guys here don't check the IQ of everybody who calls into this station. I mean, last night I was listening to West Ham fans calling in really angry, and I was just wondering, did they check the IQ? You know, it was very hypocritical to me. And then the other thing that I found, really below the belt was him saying that if he was in charge of Arsenal, he would shut us down. I would shut Arsenal Fan TV or AFTV, I would shut it down. And I was like, what, are we not entitled to our opinion? Is this North Korea now? That we can't have our say. So
what does the club think of AFTV?
That is why I went back at him. Sorry?
What does the club think of what you do in your channel?
I don't think the club really have a big problem with us. I've spoken to people before at the club, and they don't have a massive problem with us. They don't agree with everything we say. Obviously,
they insisted on a name change, didn't they? They took the Arsenal out of Arsenal Fan TV.
Again, that's a myth. You know what I mean? We decided to change the name.
Robbie, legally, did they not say to you?
No, legally they did not. We decided to change the name to AFTV, right? So again, there's a lot of there's so many misconceptions that go around about AFTV. Oh, they only get views when they lose. Is the other thing? Well, if you guys would be finished if you lose. Well, I was just looking on YouTube of the top 4 trending videos today. Video number 2 trending is the highlights of the game last night. Number 4 trending video is an interview with me speaking to Troops, who you questioned his IQ.
I didn't actually, Robbie.
You did?
No, I didn't actually. We'll deal with some of the things you said.
That's the number 4 trending video, and we won the game. So there's all these misconceptions around.
Who is Troops?
Troops is one of the fans that we interview on
he's
AFTV. He's a regular. He's very popular.
And Simon questioned his IQ, did he?
Simon questioned his IQ. He questioned the IQ of many of the fans that come onto AFTV. And as I said, I found that hypocritical because you work on TalkSport, and I think it's brilliant. It was one of the things I love about TalkSport. allow fans to come on and have their say after a game. And sometimes fans say things that we don't agree with. I mean, I heard some fans the other day on TalkSport having a go at Guardiola. I was like, if only we had Guardiola at Arsenal, but that's their opinion.
And fans absolutely have a right to have a vantage point, and they should have a vantage point because they're the heartbeat of a club. I didn't question any of your individuals' IQ. I made a comment in response to what Danny Kelly said, which, what's the average age? What do you think the average age of an Arsenal fan TV viewer is? I said, well, listening to some of the nonsense I've listened to, I would question what the average IQ is. Let me read you out a tweet from one of your guys to see if you think this IQ is something of resonance. This is your Troops, is it? I don't know Troops from the bar of soap.
Troops is one of the regular.
The only reason I know Troops is because Danny Kelly mentioned him, and the only context I have with you guys is to watch a few of your videos and seen a few of your things because your notoriety and your infamy precedes you. But that's the motivation behind your platform, and we'll discuss it in a second. But this is one of your guys. This is what he sends me: "Suck my big toe, you pompous, stuck-up rat, and also sort out your barber blood. With all that cash, I thought you'd have patterned. Or did you lose it all when you left Palace Administration, you mug?" Now, when I talk about IQ, do you think that raises the bar? Do you think that's a particular comment that resonates well with people that read or listen to your platform? Would you like your children to watch your platform? Because I don't know if I'd want my kids to listen to some of the things I see.
Was that on, those comments were on our platform to you, were they?
This is on Twitter.
No, well, our platform's not Twitter.
Well, this is
Twitter.
AFTV. This is one of your.
No, but
this is one of your guys.
That's one of the guys.
This is one of the guys that you told me.
Hold on.
That I was questioning his IQ. I didn't question his IQ. I don't know him, Robbie. And by the way, also, what I turned around and said is, I have a vantage point on the content that I've seen, and I also know there's a very diverse set of content that you have, which isn't all about observations and criticisms. And it amazes me because there's a lot of criticism that goes on your platform. Yet you cry when someone criticises you.
I'm not crying.
I made an observation.
No, hold on.
You came back with a 15-minute rant about me. 90% of it was inaccurate. Have you ever been to Thornton Heath? I was raised in Thornton Heath. I went to a state school and was expelled. I didn't go to a public school, mate.
I used to be in Thornton Heath very regularly.
I'm not a posh boy.
Back in the day, I was a reggae artist. I used to record in Thornton
Fantastic.
Heath.
But I have a great deal of regard.
Let me just say something. That comment you just read out was on Twitter. That wasn't on AFTV. I could find.
But that's irrelevant.
No. Sorry.
I'm talking about the IQ of the people that
talk about our platform.
I'm talking about the engagement that I've had with one of your audience. My vantage point. And I've seen it and I've heard it. So I listened to you. I didn't interrupt you, right? But I've heard some of the things that are being said, and I look at it and say, you know, when you go to your platform, it should be about insight. It shouldn't be about insults. It shouldn't be about entertainment. It should be about education. I believe that ultimately a football club is the sum of all its parts, and a key integral part of that are the fans. I don't want to shut people's voices down. I'm not a dinosaur in that respect. I believe you're a broadcaster. You're no different from anybody else. You're a broadcaster. The only thing different about you is you have a different kind of content, but you're in the exact same space as everybody else, which means you are subject to other people's opinions. And people give you a vantage point. Now, I look at it and say, all I've seen, all I've heard, and I've tracked your growth because I admire you, Robbie, because you have seen an opportunity. You have seen a marketplace and you've steered into it, and you've got the zeitgeist, my friend, on how to do a fan TV. It's built upon notoriety. It's built upon your infamy. If you look at the trend that's gone with your business, 350,000 subscribers in 2017. Watch the decline of Arsenal and watch the decline of that club from 2017, and watch the ascent of your viewership. It's gone. Arsenal have gone down. The divisiveness has gone up, and up goes your numbers. So if you, as an Arsenal fan, are in a very difficult position because you have a conflict of interest, mate.
So Robbie, what we're doing at the moment is Simon's seriously questioning the objectivity of AFTV. We'll let you come back after this. Jordan, who's sitting to my right in here, a posh boy, a dinosaur, a failed owner. Well, to a degree, you and I joke about that now and again, Simon. You're very, very good to me because you let me off with one or two barbs about that. Gabriel Cancello on Twitter, incidentally. This is more entertaining listening to these two this lunchtime than Joshua Ruiz. Absolutely loving it this lunchtime. So where were we when we came up for air there and got to commercial break and came out the other end of it? Basically, this is where we're at, Robbie. Simon, you've had a swipe at him. You've had a serious dig at him, but you've come back at him because he, like me, questions the objectivity of AFTV. To me, it seems you're there hosting it, loving it. When someone like your man Troops or somebody else comes on and absolutely clobbers your football club. And this football club is a hugely respected institution in English football. And I think deserves more respect from you. And Simon touched on it there. Your audience figures have romped it. They've gone through the Richter scale at a time when Arsenal as a football club have been in decline. No, you cannot deny that.
Listen, Jim, as I keep saying, right, this claim that's always put at us, we won the game last night.
Yeah.
We haven't even spoken about the game yet, but we actually won that game last night, and we've got the number 4 trending video on YouTube at the moment with the same fan that he's criticising, Troops, praising the performance and the fight last night. But no one's going to talk about that.
Of course,
when we was on last season, when we was on a 20-game unbeaten run, and all the fans were coming on praising, nobody talks about that. But people who watch our content, who follow our content, who know what we do, we go to every single game, every friendly, we was out in America. And this thing about Simon's there, even during the break, he's going on about a commercial venture, it's money.
But it is a commercial venture.
Let me just say something, right?
But it is.
When I started this AFTV up, right, I started it with no money. I was working, right, as a surveyor, right, and I started it.
It's a commercial venture now.
Let me explain to you, right. I started up with no money, right, and I've built it up to where it is now, right. And the sole aim of this platform was to give ordinary fans a voice, because I didn't think that ordinary fans have a voice. Now, we have given ordinary fans a voice. Not only have we given them a voice, we've given them a big voice. That's why you heard me come back at you. Back in the day, you could have said what you said about me and it would have gone unnoticed. Nobody would be able to reply.
That's very true.
You heard me.
Yeah, no,
you heard me. Now,
let
me finish. Let me finish talking, right? I'm sorry, Simon. Yeah, I do think you look down on the type of fans that come on AFTV, and then it's very hypocritical, because Talk Sport allow fans to come on and have their say, and sometimes some of the things the fans say, we don't agree with that either, but it's a fan's opinion. And as I said to you in the video, what gives you more right to have a say on Arsenal than those fans? How many Arsenal games you've been to?
But who said I did?
How many? Hold on. How many? No, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
I'm listening to your monologue.
One second, because I let you talk.
Not really.
You're a Crystal Palace fan.
Well, obviously that's why I bought them.
How many Palace games you've been to this season? None.
Yeah.
So what, you're here every day. Hold on. You're here every day.
This is not a monologue.
No. You're not.
Robbie, this is not the Robbie Lyle show, Robbie. You've had your say. Right, Robbie?
No, you're over.
Robbie,
I let you talk.
You can't tell me what I think, okay?
How many games have you been to?
I do not think. How many times have you owned the football club? How many chairmen have you commented on your club? You don't know how to be a chairman. You don't know how to manage a football club, but you have an opinion on it.
I give an opinion on it.
And I have an opinion.
The point I'm trying.
And my opinion. Let me finish.
One second. No, let me finish. The point I'm trying to make is that you're looking down on these fans and saying that they're not allowed to have their say. You ain't even been to a game.
Robbie, you cannot.
You haven't even. You admitted it. You ain't been to a game.
You cannot tell me what I think of the fans. You don't know. Ask me what I think. Ask me what I think.
Don't tell me. You think some of the fans that come on have got a low IQ?
What do you think?
I think fans have an absolute right to have a valid point. I listen to the Arsenal fan TV on the times that I've listened to it, and I think it's toxic. I think it's destructive. I think it's counterproductive.
Did you listen to it last night?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I didn't think.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't listen to it last
night.
Oh,
we won.
So because I
that.
believe that the real energy behind your platform and the conflict for you as an Arsenal fan, a purported Arsenal fan, and we'll go back to me in a second. We'll go back to me in a second. Right?
Purported Arsenal fan says the person who doesn't go to any games.
We'll go back to me in a second.
I was at the game last night. I got in at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Robbie, we'll go back to what you. We'll go back to me in a second, right? But the idea that you have a commercial vested interest in the well-being of your product supersedes your role as a fan. Now we'll go to me as an owner, right? Here's me, Robbie. At 32 years of age, I bought the football club that my father played for. I signed schoolboy forms with Palace when I was 16. I spent 50 million quid of my money on a football club. I ran out of money in 2010, and I handed it to others for nothing. I don't go watch Crystal Palace because it's very difficult for me to watch others that took something from me which shouldn't have been been belonging to them. I've given them players like Klein that you tried to sign and couldn't afford. I've given them players like Zaha from my academy that your club couldn't afford, and you also try and sign Victor Moses. So when you sit there and talk to me about being a failed football club owner or a failed chairman, you don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about. You don't have the faintest idea. Now, I don't take exception to it because you know what? That's public record stuff and you're entitled to your opinion. But don't tell me what I think of fans. I was the first football club owner to refund fans their money when my players stunk the house out because they didn't want to lift a leg on an away game. I have an absolute double down, dialed in value of fans. But I listen to you guys, and what I hear from you is a societal reflection. And football isn't
societal reflection.
Yeah, it is, because we've got a very angry, negative society out there that thinks it has a vantage point of saying things that are toxic. And sport shouldn't be a reflection of society. It should be an antidote to society. It should be about lifting people out of grey areas, not listening to people effing and jeffing and broadcasting in such a way that is so negative it's a discredit. And you steer into that, Robbie, because it's traction for your product. And your product is commercial.
You can't argue with that, Robbie. You should be a lot more positive, should you not, mate?
Listen, did you watch last night?
Well, you cannot make why for so many months, Robbie, did we hear Wenger, get out of our effing club?
Hold on. You cannot be selective.
Right, I haven't watched any games
One
this year.
second. You cannot be selective in this, right? You cannot just look at when... I'm going to go and watch it when it was a bad result, and then I'm going to have a go at those fans for being negative. You've got to watch it as a whole.
Tell us about last night.
The fans were very positive about the performance. What they liked about the performance last night was the fight that the players showed. Is what they've been asking for a long time.
Who do you want to manage the club, Robbie? Who do they want in to manage the club?
Let me just say, Jim, right? It wasn't just... The fans were saying for quite a while that they wanted Arsene Wenger to leave. It wasn't all the fans. There was a lot of... At first... It was like most of the fans wanted Wenger to stay. Then it was like a 50-50 split. If you watched and you tracked our stuff, you would have seen that it wasn't every single fan that was against Arsene Wenger.
But you can't deny, Robbie, that you loved it when people were on effing and blinding about Wenger, didn't you?
I didn't love it.
Because it was figures for you,
Jim,
mate.
again, I find it hypocritical, even of you, in a way, right? Because you guys, last night, I heard you guys saying, West Ham fans, get on here now. Let us know. Should Pellegrini go? Right? You're encouraging those fans to ring up and have a go about Pellegrini.
And that's a good point,
This
Robbie.
is football, right?
And that's a good point,
And if
Robbie.
we go to every single game and we get the opinions of fans. If
course
it's
you do,
going
Robbie.
brilliantly,
Because you're making money from it.
like the guys at Redmen TV, the guys that I know well who do that channel, if it's going brilliantly like it is at Liverpool, you hear a reflection of that. If it's going... I mean,
Robbie,
look how bad things have been.
Platform
At
like
Arsenal,
yours.
this is our worst start.
Robbie.
Let me finish. It's our worst start to a season since 1977. And you want those fans to be positive.
No,
and on this commercial...
constructive.
On this commercial venture thing...
and pragmatic.
On this commercial venture thing, Simon, you as a businessman, you just explained about the 50 million...
And I respect
you respect business, right?
I do.
Would it be a good business plan then to say, right, I'm going to put it on failure of Arsenal?
No.
Right? I mean,
The narrative,
come on. You know, basically last night, my business model falls over.
You've got articles being written about you in the New York Times where they talk about the toxicity
hold on, New York Times was also talking about how it's a new platform.
But you're talking
New York Times was also talking...
The infamy and notoriety of Arsenal Fan TV precedes and supersedes anything you do. And the traction that it gets is because... And when you talk about controversy, Robbie, I'm not controversial. Find me a point where I'm controversial. I'm authentic. There's nothing controversial
You're not
about
controversial.
Me. No, not at all.
That's the only reason you're on here.
Not at all, Robbie. The reason why I'm on here is
because... You're on here because you're controversial.
Robbie, the reason why
you're
I'm
no
on
different to
the
Troops or
the
DT.
reason why
You're
I'm
just
on
a bit...
Robbie,
you speak in a different accent.
The reason why I'm on here...
You speak in a different accent. You are controversial.
Robbie,
you're not on here for your... You're not an ex-player.
Robbie,
you're not...
I'm an ex-Premier League football club owner.
I'm
the youngest football owner club in the world.
You don't go to games.
What's that got to do with price of
You're on here
cheese?
because you're a controversial figure.
Because I understand the business of football.
What did Troops and DT do before they were hired to go on your channel?
What did they do?
What did they do before?
I don't know what their jobs are. I think DT used to be a DJ. These are their jobs.
But Robbie,
they're ordinary fans.
They're entitled to an opinion.
Listen, these are ordinary fans.
Here's the thing, Robbie. Nobody has said at any point, this is a figment of your imagination, maybe an inferiority complex on your part. Nobody has said that my opinion is more prevalent than your opinion.
You did, because you said you want it shut down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
if you want it, I don't like it.
No, but if I don't like something,
I think it's
if I don't like something, I don't watch it.
I think it's
I don't
divisive.
listen to it. If I didn't like Talk Sport, I wouldn't listen to it.
But Robbie,
I wouldn't be saying
Arsenal for so many matches. Why did you keep going,
Robbie?
I love Arsenal. That's Jim. What are you talking about? I love Arsenal Football Club. I've been supporting this club all my life. This is my club, right? We go week in, week out.
I know.
We haven't missed a game for 7 years since we've been doing this.
I bet you haven't, Robbie.
Right, and it's all been financed from my pocket. Yeah,
not anymore.
It's been fine.
Fair play,
guys.
Listen, we employ people.
Robbie, we're going to take
those
time
people
out.
have to be paid. I mean, if you want to do your venture for free, that's fair enough.
Shout and take a breath, because we're going to have a break here. This is what we do in Talk Sport. Give people their platforms to talk.
Thank you very much.
Loving it, Robbie. It's good stuff. 12:30.